Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another session by OPM Tools or OverPower Marketing. And these are the workshop series in which we go over certain theme. And since we are in the last quarter of 2025, we are focusing on the audit of the system and preparing for 2026. And over here now we are getting down to the final bits of the systems, which in which we'll be talking about the dashboard, the pipelines, the contacts, and all of the data which is represented within your system based on the activities that you've done over the past entire year, or even further or beyond that. This would be a time where you can audit it to see what was working, what's not working, and how to prepare for 2026. So we have Cohen Powell with us as well, and he shall be going over the dashboard and the different features so you can understand what you need to do for your own account or your own business, and that how you need to prepare for 2026. So over to you, Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. Val. And as Mr. Val was saying, yeah, we're going to be preparing as we go into 2026. So we want to make sure everything is up to date, that we have our dashboard nice and neat, going over our task list and all the reports that are available within the dashboard, as well as how we can add additional features to our dashboard as well. We have gone over this in the past, but I'll just do a quick review over it. Now, as I said before, we do need to clean up the task board, and this is the time to do so. We are nearing the end of the year, so this is just a reminder to do that as well. But to add additional features to the dashboard, we want to hit edit, and we are able to add our very own widget that we would like to do. There are plenty of pre-built ones, such as relating to contacts, such as appointments, opportunities, visitor data, and so on. There's a variety that is available to you, whatever you find most important to you at the time, or whatever you find most important to you at the beginning of the year. This is now the time that you want to do so. So for this, I would say that we want to keep a close eye on our contacts as we are going into the new year. We want to make sure that all of our support tickets are taken care of. So we would want to make sure that we are up to date on them as well. But just so you know, it's as simple as clicking on this, hitting save, and it will automatically add the new widget within the dashboard. And you are able, once it has been placed, you are able to drag and drop it, organize it in however way you would like, and it is as simple as that. So yeah, just a quick overview on the dashboard, and I believe Muspa is going to be going over the actual contacts as well as how to organize them better as well. So, Mustafa, do you want to take over?
When you're in the final quarter of any year, the one thing that you really need to look at or focus on is the data which you have within the system. The data over here that we are referring to is your contacts. Now, as you can see, we have around 20,000 contacts. This is when we understand, okay, if this is the amount of contacts that we have, how many are clients, how many are support, how many are belonging to different categories. We have created different smart lists. So for example, the SaaS users, potential client, credit unions, website intent data, and ARM leads. And it can go on and on for as many as you want. You could have one for the people without emails, the people without phone numbers, the people with a certain tag, people belonging to a certain area within the United States or any other part of the world, and so on and so forth. So you'll have a lot of filters to work with. Now, when you're working with contacts, one of the things that you need to see is when they were created, what was the last activity? If the last activity has been like 6 months ago, 9 months ago, 1 year ago, maybe it's time to download that data and remove them from this system right now, unless you have a plan to do some reactivations. Again, once you see the people or how many people you have which have been contacted at least 6 months ago, you can then focus your efforts in 2026 to actually do a database reactivation campaigns, because you have so many contacts within your system. You need to reactivate them, you need to reach out to them and still and have an initiate a conversation with them. Maybe their goals were different for 2025 and their goals have changed for 2026, and they might be looking to avail your services or your products or whatever it is that you're providing them. So that would be one thing. So you can use different filters when you're on this page, the contact page. Go to filters and then search based on the filters. So you can search either by the custom fields that you have created by yourself, or you can search by the actual by the default fields, which are the first name, last name, and so on and so forth. So for example, if I click on email and I want to search for all the contacts within my data which do not have an email, I can click on apply, and it will show that I have 1694 records of people who do not have an email. So I can't exactly reach out to them using an email campaign. So I can work on a text based campaign in order to reach out to them, or I can assign my dialers or cold callers or warm callers or hot callers to call these people and gather the info and initiate a conversation. So based on your different based on your contacts data of what is available, what is not available, what was the last activity, what they were interested in, every sort of data that you have gathered over the previous years, this is the moment where you consolidate it all to see if you can create different groups of data, and based on those data you can have different campaigns for 2026. So for example, one campaign over here would be the people who do not have an email, call them or send them a text trying to initiate a conversation. If I clear this out, I can go with if the tag is not a client, for example, if they are not a clients yet, I can then put them into another nurturing email blasts or nurturing campaigns, and so on and so forth. So for all the people that you have, you can use this system to check if they fall into a certain filter or not. This is one of the things that you need to do. Secondly, if you click over here on the manage smart list, you can check all the smart lists that you have created or you have currently within the system. This would be a good opportunity or a good time then when you can create more smart lists. So you can't exactly create smart lists from managing them. You can create them from the smart list or from the all contacts button. So for example, I go over here, click on more filters, and I want to do a data reactivation campaign. I will do, what was that? It was last activity. So I'm going to search last activity, and I'm just going to type it down. Last activity is more than, let's say, months, 6 months ago. Apply. And I have 5,562 people, and they were contacted or they were reached out to at least, oh yeah, 6 months or more. So I'm going to save this as smart list and call this data reactivation, and I'm going to click save. Now, why did I create a smart list? So that it's always in front of me. I know that these are the people to whom we need to reach out to. We haven't reached out to them in at least 6 months. So these are the things that you need to do. You need to make filters and create smart lists so that when you're working on your campaigns, you won't have to spend time on finding the people that you want to send in those campaigns. You can just click on the data reactivation campaign, for example, click over here, select all the records, and push them into that particular automation. So that's simple what you need to do. Apart from that, the second thing that you need to do or you need to go over are your pipelines. Now, pipelines is something that represents different processes within your system, within your business. It could be your internal systems or internal system management. It could be your task management. It could be your outbound efforts. It could be the client handling efforts, reselling efforts, upsell efforts, cross-sell efforts, and more and more and more. I ran out of synonyms. Sorry. So you can search which pipelines you want to keep, which pipelines you want to change. Why are you thinking about this right now? The answer is because it's the end of the year. This is when you have gathered all the data from throughout your team with all their complaints or their suggestions or their criticisms or their advices and opinions, and you know what's working and what's not working. So when you start 2026, instead of having to focus at that moment on what you need to do, at least you have a game plan before 2026. So you can remove or create new pipelines or add different stages to different pipelines, and then you can go into the opportunities and check how many opportunities do you have and where you have it. For example, this is our request and task board. We have like 200 opportunities that we are working on right now, or 200 tickets that we are working on right now. And we want to make sure that when we start 2026, we want to have a clean plate so that we have nothing on our end that we need to do, so we can start 2026 with a fresh, with a clean plate. Again, I don't know the synonym to that. I thought of a synonym, but I didn't remember it. Anyways, you get the idea what I'm saying. So you need to focus all your energy on making sure that your opportunities or your pipelines are clean, they are clear, so that when you enter next year, you have a fresh start and you can work on everything that you have gathered over the previous years, and you have done your data analysis, you have done your audit, and you're focused on growing your business instead of working on the system and making the system more um, friendly or more optimized. So everything that was supposed to do on the system end has been completed, and now you're focused on making the business grow. So yeah, that would cover that. Yeah, I think that would cover everything. So let's talk about everything that we have covered so far in October, November, and December. In these 3 months, in the quarter four of 2025, we have talked about every different feature, every single feature within OPM Tools CRM system that you need to conduct an audit on, that you need to check, be it the opportunities, be it the contacts, be it the dashboard, be it the calendars, be it your payments, your documents, your contracts, your invoices, your media storage, your communities, your courses, and the list goes on and on and on. It goes for tags, custom fields, forms, funnels, everything. Once you have a game plan ready, once you know what is within the system, what needs to be changed, what needs to be altered, what needs to be optimized. That way, you can prepare a game plan so you can start your 2026 with a clear idea and a clear plan of action. That is why this entire quarter we were focusing on the audit. And for the upcoming workshops that we have for next week and the week after that, the topics are the first. So the next week we'll be doing a complete audit of the system as if I had to do an audit, what I would do step by step. And on the last week of December, we'll be going over the expectations of 2026, and the expectations we'll be talking about what we expect to do with the system in 2026, all the features that have recently came out, what other people are doing, and what we should be taking a more proactive approach on. So I hope this workshop has been beneficial for you, and we hope to see you again next week.